Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Smith. I'm the HR coordinator at Bader Martin. So I handle all the campus recruiting. I do virtual career fairs. Well, now they're virtual. I do first round interviews as well, and I help with onboarding. So I'm kind of there for the whole process. So if you guys have any questions about anything, I am your go-to for that. So today I'm going to go over just some basics about Bader Martin and public accounting. I'm also going to go over the day-to-day of an audit professional versus the day-to-day of a tax professional, our application process, and some tips on networking and recruiting in this new virtual world that we are all living in. So for the basics, Bader Martin is located in downtown Seattle. We just have our one office there with about 100 employees, give or take. So you really get to know everyone, which I think is super awesome. You get to have relationships with everyone from staff all the way to managers and principals. And we've been around for about 30 years. And for our position levels, you start off as a staff and then you move up to senior manager, and ultimately principal. So for some advantages of our mid-size is you really get early significant client interaction, especially on the audit side. You know, I started with someone who went and met a CFO like his second day on the job, which I think is really cool. And you also get the really strong team environment. You know, you're working with everyone. If you're in the tax department, you're working with all the managers, all the senior managers, and same with audit. You're always working in teams, so you really get to work with everybody in the whole department. And your clients are in closer proximity, which is also nice for the audit department. So you get to sleep in your bed every night. You don't have to travel a whole bunch, and you get to go home at the end of the day. And you also get to work on entire projects or returns, where I know a lot of the bigger companies, maybe you're just getting a specific part of it, where here you're getting to see the full thing. So you really get to know how a company operates. We also have a true open door policy. Now it's, I guess, open email policy since no one's really in the office. But yeah, you can really go and voice your opinion since our company is so small. Like if you see something you want to change, you can go right up to a principal and just let them know. And for our firm culture, we usually do a lot of out-of-office get-togethers. These have been replaced with a lot of Zoom happy hours, Zoom Jeopardy games, Zoom lunches, and coffee dates. So we're really trying to keep that culture there in our relationships. We also have something called compressed summer work weeks, which are super awesome. So you either get to do 4-hour work days Monday through Thursday, and you can take a half day on Friday. Oh, I'm sorry, 9-hour work days Monday through Thursday and take a half day on Friday. Or you can do 10-hour work days Monday through Thursday and take Friday completely off, which is super nice in the summer. You get to go out and enjoy some more sunshine. We also dress pretty casual. You know, you can wear jeans as long as there's no holes in them. We always do Blue Fridays, but I'm pretty sure everyone's kind of wearing sweats at the moment since everyone's working from home. We usually do a lot of holiday parties and a summer picnic as well. These have kind of been put on hold. We've just been replacing them with virtual things. We also volunteer a lot together. So one thing we always participate in is Food Frenzy. So it's basically Food Lifeline. It is pretty much a warehouse for all food banks. So we go in, we collect food, we package them, donate a lot of money. You also get 8 hours of paid volunteer time per year. So if you didn't want to participate in Food Frenzy, you could use that for another charity that you like. So who do we work with? Our main practice area clients are family businesses. We have a lot of high net worth individuals, real estate, technology and startups, distribution and manufacturing, and not-for-profit. So when you start out, you get exposure to all of these. And usually after about, I would say 2 to 3 years, we'll kind of set you down and say, maybe do you like working with one practice area more than the other? Maybe you hate working with one of them, it just doesn't click for you. We'll kind of tailor your career that way so you can go to all the trainings, to the areas that you like, and then as you move up to manager, senior manager, you're kind of like the go-to for that certain practice area. You're almost like a consultant. So you get to really kind of make your career what you want. So a day-to-day of an audit professional, what does a typical day look like? You're usually in teams, kind of depending. You can have 2 people on a team, you can have 6 people on a team, again, depending how big the project is. And a lot of times you are out in the client's office and it can last anywhere from 1 week to 4 weeks. Right now, we are not meeting with clients and it seems to be going well. So I'm not sure exactly what the future holds. If we're still going to be going out to clients' offices, maybe everything will be remote. But you also get to test a lot of financial statements in our audit department, which I think most don't get to see that until maybe you're at the manager level. And again, you may work on a couple audit sections or the whole audit, depending on how big the project is and how many people are on it. So different types of engagements that we have are audit, review, compilation, agreed upon procedures, litigation, and consulting. And you truly get to learn how a company operates because you're seeing the full project. So from a not-for-profit versus a for-profit, they're all so different and you really get to learn a lot. So for a day-to-day of a tax professional, as a first-year tax staff, you're doing a lot of tax return preparation, you're doing a lot of tax research and planning. There's little client correspondence, not much. When you start off, you're more preparing the tax return and sending it up to, the seniors and the managers, and they're kind of making edits and corrections and sending it back to you, and they're more handling the client interaction. So as you move up, this switches, you're doing less of the tax return prep and more client correspondence. So the normal day is your commute. Obviously, everyone right now is kind of going just from their bed to the desk. Commute's not bad. Grab your coffee, tea, or water, do your emails and time-sensitive tasks, and then your general workload. So this is kind of something you can kind of figure out. Maybe you have a deadline that needs to be met before another project that you're working on, so you'll do that first. And we actually have someone who assigns work for a whole tax department. And she'll assign that based on your level of difficulty, so when you first start out, you're not going to get this big, confusing tax return. You're going to get something that's going to suit you. And we do a lot of reallocation as well. So maybe you're not going to reach a deadline or you have something going on at home. If you just let our allocator know, she will take your work and give it to someone else who maybe has a little bit more time for it. So you're not too overwhelmed and all the work is done right. So fall recruiting, it is open on your guys' school job board. It is closing tomorrow though, so I ask that you get that in either today or tomorrow. I think it closes at 11:59 p.m. tomorrow. We just ask for a resume, a cover letter, and your unofficial transcripts. And then I will be holding virtual interviews on October 15th, and they're just 30 minutes with me, super easy. And if you make it to second round interviews, those are going to be virtual as well. I don't have a date set for that yet, but either the week of Halloween or the first week of November. So those will be soon after. And then the start date is for November of 2021. So we hire you or we give you an offer a year in advance. And that way you kind of have the summer to maybe relax or start studying for the CPA exam. I try to hammer that in a lot. Just try to maybe knock 1 or 2 out or even just studying. I've seen a lot of people really struggle if they're doing a busy season and then they go home and have to study for the CPA exam. It's really difficult. So I always encourage people to get it out of the way as soon as you can. But if maybe you're graduating early in December 2020 or something like that, and you're applying for the tax position, there is an option to start in January of 2021, just because it's right before the busy season. So we need all the help we can get. And so for some appealing candidates, the main thing I always have is knowledge about the company. So make sure you're doing your research. You have a reason for why you want to work for the certain company. It just goes to show that you kind of care about the interview, you care about getting the position, and you're trying. Also, internship experience. This isn't necessarily what I look for in a candidate. I would say it's kind of just something I recommend to you guys. I know a lot of people struggle with, do you want tax? Do you want audit? Classes don't really give you a good, sense overall. So maybe if you take an audit internship and you're like, oh, I hate this, you can do tax. Or maybe you decide you really love audit, so you kind of know what you're getting into. So I would say do that if you can. I also look at your GPA. Your accounting GPA is more important than your overall GPA, but we're still going to look at that. But I don't really care what you got in Greek and Roman mythology. We'll also look at improvements. So maybe you were struggling before, you had something going on in your personal life, and maybe you went to office hours and you kind of, improved your grades. That is something you can also put in a cover letter. If you have something to say or explain, I would explain it for sure. Also being open to feedback. I think this is a big one, especially for starting out your job, because public accounting is really hard. It's a lot of work and everyone messes up. So if you're able to kind of take the feedback that you're given and the constructive criticism and apply it to your next project or return, that will help you a lot instead of just kind of closing off, because it's kind of competitive as well. So, just make sure you're taking the feedback you're given and really running with it. So for some virtual interview tips, number one is be prepared. So make sure you double check the date, double check the time. If you're on a different side of the country, you know, maybe it's not in the right time zone. Again, knowledge about the role, do your research and come with questions. You always want to have questions prepared. And a lot of times if people are interviewing with more than one person, and I always hear, oh, I already asked so-and-so all my questions. I would encourage you to ask the same questions to someone else because maybe they have a different answer for you. Maybe their experience was a little bit different. So just come with questions. That's a huge one. Also test out your technology beforehand. Make sure your computer is charged. I would go as far as to plug your computer in and having it being charged as you're online, just so you don't have any problems or issues. And again, if you're on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or anything, I would just click the link, make sure everything works, maybe like an hour beforehand. The second or the third thing is body language. To make sure you're sitting up straight, you're making eye contact with the person you're speaking to, and maybe a little bit of hand gestures as well. And make sure your background is ready. So try to limit any noise or distractions. You know, if you have roommates, maybe let them know I'm going to be on an interview from this time to this time. Maybe lock your dog out of your room. I know you can't control barking or anything like that, but everyone is in this virtual world together. So I think most people will be understanding if there's something going on, but just try to limit it. Also make sure you have good lighting. So, you know, don't sit with your back towards the window. It can make you look like a shadow. Maybe face the window, and don't lay in your bed. You know, it's fine if you're in your bedroom, maybe your bed's behind you and you can see it, but just don't make it obvious that you're laying in your bed with like your headboard right behind your head. And networking, so take advantage of opportunities, you know, go to all your virtual university events, stay in touch with your clubs, maybe you're in NASBA or you're in BAT. Just stay in touch with your mentors. Even if you're just on email or LinkedIn, just kind of check in with people, let them know you're still around, you're still there, ask about opportunities coming up. And also, I have been doing Zoom coffee and lunch dates with candidates and bringing tax and auditors as well, so you can kind of pick their brains. I'm on hold with this right now until maybe about mid-November, just because we are in full swing recruiting. But yes, reach out. I'm sure a lot of companies are willing to do that as well. Tips for success. So ask questions to understand why. So maybe if you make a mistake, make sure you know why you made the mistake and how you're going to fix it in the future. Start building your network early. Spell check and proof your work. Keep up with the financial world events, and again, complete the CPA exam. Just start looking into studying as early as you can. And if you have any questions, that is my email. It's super simple, just asmith@badermartin.com. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'll go to that slide next. And Bader Martin also has their website, their LinkedIn page, and a Facebook page. And then that's the link for my LinkedIn. But I'll go back to this slide. But yes. So thank you everyone for joining. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And asmith@badermartin.com if you have any questions. Thanks, bye.